So today is our last day in this factoring unit. Next class you will have your test review, and then your test is this Friday. So to finish off this unit, we have one more piece, and then we're going to look at some multiple choice questions. So in example 1, what it has here is a polynomial. So this thing here has 3 pieces, that's a trinomial, divided by another polynomial. So this has 2 pieces. So all we have to do, it's very easy. It says factor the top, and then the factor that is not on the bottom is the answer. So what that means, the top is a trinomial. So we have an A, a B, and a C. So as always, draw your X. A times C is the top, B is the bottom. 2 times 2 is the number 4. B number is a 5. What makes 4? 1 times 4, 2 times 2. Which of these factors would add to make 5? 1 and 4 would add to make that 5. So now to factor, we write the first term 2x squared. Instead of writing the middle term, we write it as those 2 terms we got from our x puzzle. And then my third term is just a plus 2. Now that I have 4 pieces, I can split the middle. What comes out of a 2 and a 1? I can divide both 2 and 1 by the number 1. They both have an x, so I can take an x out. So the GCF is 1x. What's left over? 2 divided by 1 is 2. When exponents are stacked, you subtract. 2 minus 1, there's just one little x. Plus 1 divided by 1 is 1. X over x will cancel. Same thing, other side. I can divide both of these by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. There's an x there. 2 divided by 2 is 1. These match. That's how we knew we did it right. So I factored, and I got 2x plus 1. My numbers in front are 1x plus 2. So what I'm going to do is on the top, instead of writing this top trinomial, I'm going to replace it with what we just got, 2x plus 1, and 1x, which is just the same as x, plus 2. Now, the bottom of this was x plus 2. So what happens in math is if what's on the top is the same as what's on the bottom, they can cancel. So my final answer, when I divide this and I take this out, all that I have left is 2x plus 1. So that's my answer here. So let's do that one more time, and then you can try a couple on your own. Example 2. Anytime I have a trinomial, I'm going to draw an x. I'm going to label A, B, C. A times C is the number 10. B is the number 11. Factors of 10. 1 times 10. 2 times 5. What multiplies to make a 10, but adds to make an 11? A 1 and a 10. So now I can rewrite this, 2x squared. But instead of this middle term, I'm replacing it with the 2 terms I got from my x puzzle. Back number gets to stay, plus 5. You should be good at factoring from this point. I've done it for like the last week and a half. So to factor, we figure out what my greatest common factor is. I can divide both pieces by 1, and I can take out an x. What's left over? 2 divided by 1 is 2 with an x. 1 divided by 1 is 1. Same thing. I can divide these both by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2 with an x. 5 divided by 5 is 1. My parentheses match, so that gets to come out. My leftovers are a 1x plus 5. So now to answer the question, instead of writing this top trinomial, I'm going to replace it with the factored version, which was right here. So 2x plus 1, 1x plus 5. Then in my original question, there was a 2x plus 1 below. So when I divide, this will cancel with this. Whatever's on the top can cancel with what's on the bottom. So my final answer is what's left over, which is just a 1x plus 5. 1x is the same as just saying x. X plus 5. So it's a lot of work, but once you do it, it's really not that bad. So we are factoring the top using your x puzzle. And then we're going to cancel whatever's on the top with the bottom. The ones that match get to cancel. So the factor that is not on the bottom is the answer. This was on the bottom, so this is the answer. So go ahead and try that same thing with example 3 and example 4. Factor the top and then cancel it with the bottom. Then you can practice some of these on the back. When you're ready, let's take a look at this very last page. Okay, so this is like the bread and butter of this section here. So we've factored for like the last week and a half. And now we're going to look at multiple choice to be smarter here so we can make our life easier. So what we can do when we have multiple choice is the front number times the front number. We'll have to multiply to make this number that was in front. 2 times 2 is 4. So far we're good. We could do the full double distributing, but for now, let's just check. Does the back number times the back number equal that number that was there? So the front one's worked, but that back number times the back number, we have a 1 times 8. That's not 3. 1 times 8 is 8, which means that option A is not the answer. Option B, check the fronts. 2 times 2, yep, that's 4. Check the back. 3 times 1, yep, that's 3. So B might be the answer. Let's try C. 4 times 1, yep, that's 4. Check the back. 1 times 3, yep, that's 3. So it could be C. Option D. 3 times 1, that's not 4. So D is not the answer. So if you like to factor, draw the X, factor by grouping, easy. If you struggle with factoring, we're going to take the two options that are left. I have 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 1. And I'm going to do what we did last chapter, which you were really good at. It's called double distributing. 2 times 2 is 4, x squared. 2 times 1 is 2x. 3 times 2 is 6x. 3 times 1 is 3. Combine like terms. So is this answer the same as the original question? It sure is. So that means that B had to be our answer. We didn't even have to try C because B worked. So let's look at another one like that. So instead of going through the process of factoring, which you could do, you could factor these using the X puzzle and then factor by grouping. But to make your life easier, let's just check front times front. 3x times x, yep, that's 3x squared. Check the back times the back. 2 times 4, no, that's not 3. So A is not the answer. Again, check the front. 2 times 4 is 8, not 3. So the front numbers would not multiply to make that front number. So it's not B. Let's try C. 4 times 1, no, that's not 3. So C also does not work. Option D, 3 times 1, yep, that makes 3. Check the back. -1 times -3 times -1, yep, that makes +3. So the answer is D. So without factoring and without double distributing, we were able to just check the fronts and check the backs and get your answer. So go ahead and try that same thing for number 3 and number 4. Check the front. X times x, yep, that's x squared. Negative 2 times negative 3, yep, that's positive 6. So A might be the answer. Option B, 2 times 1, that's a 2 in the front. This one doesn't have a 2 in the front, so B is not the answer. C, 1x times x, yep, that's x squared. Check the back, 1 times 6, yep, that's 6. So it might be C. Option D, 3 times 1x, no, that's not x squared. That's 3x squared, so it's not D. So now you can take option A and write it out to the side. X minus 2 times x minus 3. If it's helpful, put a 1 in front. Double distribute. See if you end up with that answer right there. If you do, then the answer is A. Same thing, try number 4. Front times front, back times back. So now let's take a look at the back. So on your STAR test and on your test this Friday, sometimes you can just look at your answer choices, double distribute, and get your answer. But other times, they only have one binomial in the answer. So in number 5, we would have to factor. There's no other way to get the right answer here than to do AC over B. Split the middle, factor by grouping, get your answer. I'll help you with this one. So this one here says 3x squared. I'm replacing the middle with a 2x and a 9x. The number in the back, positive 6. Split the middle. They have an x in common. That leaves you with a 3x plus 2. On the other side, they have a 3 I could take out, leaving me with 3x plus 2. The parentheses match, so my answer is 3x plus 2, x plus 3. 3x plus 2 can come out, leaving me with an x plus 3. So if we look at the answer choices, option C is the one that has one of those factors. Try the same thing with number 6. If there's only one factor, it means we have to actually factor it. Numbers 7 and 8 are really easy. This is what we did yesterday. Very, very important. What we learned yesterday is if you see 2 perfect squares with a minus sign in between, we just figure out what multiplies to make a 4. 2 times 2 with x's in front. What multiplies to make a 9? 3 times 3. For it to be a negative 9, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. The answer choice that has this answer, even though the plus and minus are swapped, it's okay. It's the same numbers. Answer is B. So at number 8, same thing. It says, what is one factor? Well, we know that these are perfect squares. 36 is the same as 6 times 6. 49 is the same as 7 times 7. To make it a negative 49, one had to be positive times a negative. Which answer choice has one of these factors? B does. Easy. So if you ever see perfect squares, just go straight to your parentheses and figure out what times itself makes those numbers. Very easy. So tomorrow you guys have your test review, and then Friday you'll have your test that is over factoring. On your test, you can double distribute your answer choices and get your answer, unless there's only one factor in which you'd have to actually factor it. So we'll go over that tomorrow when we do our test review.